So like I explained in the last video, there's two main components when creating it, two parts to the deficit. You've increased your output and reduce your input. Your output being the amount of work you do every day, and the input, the amount of calories that you take in every day. So our output, there are quite a few moving parts to your output, but today I'm going to give you the ones that you should focus on first, and I'll explain why, and I'll go through the kind of different components of the output, because it's worth knowing. It's the better you understand these things, the easier it is to make adjustments in the future. But if you don't know what you're doing and you're like, well, I try this or that, we need to take the guessing games out of fat loss. Remember I told you, if you have tried before and didn't lose weight, it wasn't because of your effort, it wasn't because you're this or that, it was just simply the energy equation wasn't satisfied. So your output, so the biggest part of your output is a thing called your basal metabolic rate. So that's the energy required to keep you alive at rest. So that's, I'm stood up here, if somebody was sitting down here, I'd be burning more calories than them. So it's the energy required to keep you alive at rest. Your heart, your lungs, your kidney, your hair, all the internal organs. So it's to keep the minimum amount of energy to keep you alive at rest. There's not much we can do to affect this. Obviously it's fairly steady. The only one thing we can do to affect this is increase in muscle. So that's why now strength training is a big part of a lot of people's fat loss plan, because we want to maintain muscle. Muscle is a calorie burner. The more muscle you have, the more calories you will be burning at rest. So, and it makes sense. If there's a 70 kilo person sitting there and a 100 kilo person sitting there, the 100 kilo person is going to be burning more calories at rest. Okay, but this, like I said, it's very hard. It takes a long time to affect this with training and stuff like that in terms of increasing muscle. So shouldn't really be your focus on a fat loss plan. Exercise activity, non-exercise activity. So it's not it's the activity that you do, hoovering the house, walking to the shop, walking to your car, walking the dog. This is why Apple Watches have become so, the pedometers, the step counters on Apple Watches, this is why they've become so popular. Well, part of the reason why, I believe anyway, is because they're an excellent tool for fat loss. So remember, we need to create a deficit, and one of the best ways of creating a deficit is using your steps. So if yesterday you did 3,000 steps, and today you did same again 3,000 steps, and then tomorrow you start doing 5,000 or 6,000 steps, you're pushing the output up then. You're increasing your activity levels and your body's burning more energy. So steps are huge because they can, number one, we can affect change straight away. We don't need to teach you techniques or anything like that or coach you through different parts of it. It's very simply do more steps. And number two, it's very easy to be more consistent with them. Again, because the pedometers, the Apple or the watches will count your steps, and they'll count it to the nearest step. So if I know every day you've done 7,000 steps, it's just we know we have a consistent output then. Whereas training, some days you might come to training, you might burn 200 calories. The next day you come to training, you might have a really good session, you might burn 300 or 400 calories. The next day you're stiff, you're sore, you're tired, you might burn 100 calories. The next day you don't make it to the gym. So training is not really a great tool when it comes to fat loss. And as I know, as a gym owner, I shouldn't really be saying that, but it's not, because it's too inconsistent. People's lives are busy, and the truth as well is a lot of people haven't the fitness, the strength to burn that many calories. They can give a lot of effort, all right, but the fact is, and I've seen it in studies in DCU, high-level athletes like training hard for a full hour, and they may have burned maybe 400 calories. So you're talking a chicken fillet sandwich, they're undoing that session. So, but the rest of us mere mortals, we're way below that. And like I said, we haven't got the fitness and it's too inconsistent. So non-exercise activity, that's our biggest weapon in fat loss. That's number one, where you absolutely should be putting your focus. We want to get you to a stage whereby you're burning fat or you're in a deficit regardless if you make it to the gym or not. Okay? Number three then here is called the thermic effect of food. So if I had 100 calories of, we'll say, jelly beans, and I ate them, there's very little nutritious value in them jelly beans. So when you eat them jelly beans, your body's not getting that out of them. It's just a rush of calories or sugar. Whereas if I had 100 calories of a banana, now although they both have the same amount of energy in them, the 100 calories of banana I've eaten might be fiber. So bring that fiber up there. Bring this vitamin down here, bring that mineral up there. So your it raises your metabolism. The quality of your food affects your metabolism and will actually affect the energy you're burning at rest, because there's so much working and repairing and moving around. So your metabolism is the total amount of movement in your body. And when we eat high quality foods, again, this is why protein has become so big. You see protein plastered on everything now. You can get protein ice cream. It's because protein helps with fat loss. When you eat protein, your body, everything just gets to work. It's like, bring that over there, move that up there, fix that muscle there, make that longer there. Same with high quality foods. When you have lots of colours in your food, there's vitamins, there's minerals, and everything's moving around, and bring that over there. Whereas when we eat kind of ice cream, I don't want to be giving ice cream a bad name, but when we're just eating ice cream, there's no nutritious value. There's no nutrients in the ice cream. So the ice cream, it doesn't affect your metabolism. It's just going in and going straight on your belly or wherever it may be. And then finally we have exercise. That's the last part, 5%. Again, like I said, this would be the last bit of and that's if you even do exercise. A lot of people don't make it to the gym 3 or 4 days out of a week. So your biggest weapon with fat loss is the non-exercise activity. Number 1, your steps, increasing your step count. And number 2, increasing protein intake and quality of your foods. Just make sure you have more protein in your diet, and also make sure there's plenty of colours in your food. It's a really safe way of doing it. It cuts out all the nonsense. Colours, lots of colours in your food. Fibre as well. There's counters out there to determine how much fibre should be in your diet. Your fibre affects your gut health and partitioning and how well things move along as well. So fibre is also another important one. And then strength training to raise your basal metabolic rate, but that takes a long time. So as you can see here, your output, we want to push your output up, increase your steps, improve your quality of food, and if you can, get some exercise in. But absolutely the most important two here is the non-exercise activity and thermic effect of food. Next video, we're going to go through the calories, how to reduce your calories. And then we'll go through some pitfalls, some common mistakes I've seen when coaching hundreds of people through fat loss.